Hi Manda, it's Alice. So let's have a look at your website and see what we can see. Okay, let's just share the screen. Actually, before I share the screen, I just want to say you have a lovely energy. I really like what you're doing, and there's some really good stuff in there. What we're going to do is look at just reorganizing how you've got it laid out, basically. Okay, and maybe working on refining who you're talking to make it really clear kind of who your ideal customer is at the moment. And even if you're not really sure who your ideal customer is right now, I'm just going to talk a bit about how you can still focus the words that you're using and make them less general and more specific, even though you don't know exactly who your ideal customer is. Okay, let's share the screen and have a look at your website. Okay, so this is, I was just looking over it before. So let's go to your homepage. It's really nice and clean, which is lovely. And I'm not really looking at design. That's not so much my my bag, but I do like the spaciousness up here. And obviously that makes a lot of sense, and that is quite important given that you're talking about energy clearing. Overall, the whole thing needs to feel quite clear and uncluttered, and that goes as much for the words and the meaning of the words and the way that they come across as for the visual design. And actually, I would say that this is slightly too wordy. And overall, my feedback about the site is that there are too many words, and it ends up being feeling visually cluttered. And I'm going to give you some suggestions on how to work with that. I love these words, unblock, balance, and bloom with energy clearing, but it feels like too many concepts. So you've got unblock, you've got balance, you've got bloom, energy, and clearing. They're all very visual words. They're all very kind of compelling words, and it's actually quite a lot of concepts for the brain to get its head around. And with a website, you want things to just leap out at you, speak immediately to the emotional brain. Yes, I get that. I get the feeling of that. And actually what you're doing is you're firing off lots of different feelings, which don't, if you're going to do that, you want them to stack, and they're not totally stacking. You've got unblock, then you've got thinking of unblocking, then I'm thinking of balancing, then I'm thinking of blooming, then I'm thinking of energy, then I'm thinking of clearing. It's taking me in lots of different directions. So I'd want something more simple. Bloom with energy clearing is lovely. That's nice and simple. But actually, maybe we'll come back to this at the end once we've been through the other stuff, because these words here need to be like a kind of pithy reduction of everything else that you're saying. A sort of, what's the word? I can't think of the word, it's the afternoon. Just capturing the essence, that's it, the essence of your message. So that's what I've got to say about that. Lovely picture there. You've got such a sweet face. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, I really like these words. So this is a really good start, and I'm really happy with this. And actually, when I was reading it, I was thinking, maybe she doesn't really need my help. But I do have some things to say later on. So you're flipping from you, from the first person to the first person singular to the first person plural. I'd stick with the first person singular. Second person singular. Oh, don't even try and pretend you know grammar, Alice. Stick with you. There's something about the way that you hold space when you use that word, rather than we're all in it together. And I know we're all in it together. And you're going to show that through your blog and through the way that you come across on social media. That's what vulnerability does when it's used right. You're going to show, yes, I know what this feels like, and I have an answer, which means you can trust me. You can relax in my space. I've been through it and I've come through the other side. I know what to do about this. So when you accumulate invisible energy blockages, I know how to help you so that you can come through it and have a more satisfying and enjoyable life. So I would stick with that. But I love the way you're telling stories here. It's lovely. I don't know who Pigpen is in the Peanuts comic strip. I don't know how much. I'm English and not into comics, so I don't know if that makes a difference. But it wasn't a huge problem for me that you used that reference. Invisible Dust Bunnies is just genius. I really like that. Yeah, this is great. The thing is that this kind of story is also a story that you could have on your About page and your Work With Me page, probably on your About page, actually. And I'm wondering whether actually on your front page you want something that's a bit more of an overview of the business. If you're stuck in your life, in your business, then I can help you. I do these kind of energy clearings, and then this text could go on your About page. This stuff is information which belongs on your Work With Me page. The 3 tabs is overwhelming. I've got to do too much to get the information. There's a big long list. This is just overwhelming. There's too much information in text. I really don't like the bricks on here and how that works, and I don't really like this colour. This doesn't feel clean and clear to me. This feels quite heavy and murky. I would think about maybe shifting this to yellow. I don't really like the shading because, again, that's like heavy. That's heavy and dark. So I would switch to a different colour. I'd think about your colours. I mean, clearly you're kind of trying to pick up on the colours that you've got in here. I can see what you're doing, but that doesn't feel kind of light energy to me. And it's quite cluttered. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about visuals, but that does kind of spring to mind. Yeah, and that kind of needs to be at the top, really. Really sweet little tree. I like that. So you need the kind of basic, who is it for? Call them out. Are they in the right place? This website is for you if I'm Manda, a flavour of your vibe, and the kind of problems that you can solve, and then lead them into finding out more. I feel like this needs to go on your About page once they're in and they're ready to hear more. So you need a sort of couple of paragraphs overview. It doesn't have to be a lot on your front page. So this information needs to get shunted to your Work With Me page. Let's go to and we'll come to that in a sec. No, sod it. Let's just go to your Work With Me page. The thing is, I would like your About page to be here, to be between home and Work With Me, and I would like you to have a testimonials page. Okay, yeah, this is totally overwhelming, and you've got way more separate things here than you need. For example, I clicked on these 2 links here: schedule my phone clearing, set up my in-person clearing. They go to the same thing. They go to the same panel. Oh, hang on, I clicked on one of them. I'm banking on. Okay, so they don't. Right, so one does go to your schedule and the other one goes to a contact me page. You want to keep it as simple as possible. And I don't know, I wouldn't put the price up there, not because there's anything wrong with saying how much you charge, just because it's not the primary information. You know, the old thing that you don't mention price in a sales conversation until someone asks you. So you leave that to the end because it's clutter. They need to know that they trust you and they like you and they want the results that you're offering before they get to price. And usually, if you've ticked the other boxes, the price is less of an issue. By all means, put your price on the website. I don't mind that, but it's sort of cluttering information. I'm jumping around a bit here. So, yeah, overview of this is I would like. God, it's just so much information in my brain. I just didn't know where to look. Right. Start this page with, hi, I'm Manda and I'm here to help you live a more energized life with energy clearing. If you are tripping over yourself, tripping over your space, tripping over your life, energy clearing is going to help. It's going to help clear out the dust bunnies and let your personal strengths and wonderfulness shine through. That's your kind of basic summary, and you want that right at the top of the page here. Then you can say, so I do it in a few different ways, and then I would like visuals. I would like in person. I would like you don't need a separate thing for phone sessions and in-person clearings. Hopefully your phone sessions are going to have the same energy as your in-person clearings. I mean, I know because I work in person and on Skype, I know that it's kind of different, but that's a differential that your clients have really got to make their mind up about. The point is they're getting you, they're getting time with you. It costs the same and the logistics are the same. It doesn't warrant having two different sections. And I do understand that it's different when you do this kind of work in person and on the phone, but it's not something that really warrants extra attention on your Work With Me page. Bear in mind that on your website, you need to say as much and only as much as is necessary to get them to the next stage. So to get them to give you your email address, to get them to book in for a free consult. And that is what I would make the next step, rather than scheduling my phone clearing. I get the feeling that if you're not quite finding your feet with the work itself, with the energy work, that you're still finding your feet with this as a business. And at that stage, making connections is as important as bringing money in, because those connections are like sowing seeds. So I would definitely make the call to action, not schedule my phone clearing, but set up a complimentary 20-minute discovery session. Schedule your free 15-minute energy, what would you call it? Health check. There you go. Something like that. I'd like to see that right up at the top and part of so I'd like that to be, because you haven't got an opt-in, I'd like that to be right up the top as your first point of contact. And I'm going to come back to that, talking about opt-ins actually, because I was going to use that as your springboard to your opt-in. But for now, I would like you to say, schedule your free 15-minute energy health check with me, one-to-one live, enter your email address here. And that can trigger a little email cascade through MailChimp or whatever your email provider is. Okay, going back to this. So your call to action needs to be schedule a 15-minute consult. Existing clients, you can provide them with access to your schedule and with a PayPal link, or with a PayPal link with access to your schedule once they've paid, so that they can book themselves in. There's ways of doing that. You don't need to put that on your website. You really want to encourage people to get into contact with you and get into your sales cycle. And that 15-minute energy health check is a really good starting point for that. So yeah, I'm jumping around a bit, Manda, sorry. So you're starting with, okay, if you want more vitality in your life and you'll find you're tripping over yourself, I'm here to help you live a more vibrant life. Let me make your life better with energy clearing. Then you've got, and I would like you to work with images. So you've got an image that says, well, you could do images or not images. I mean, the reason I'm suggesting an image as a hyperlink so that you don't have a really cluttered page, but you could easily have in-person clearing. I'll tune in and clear you layer by layer to release your stuck areas. It's a gentle, safe process. I mean, you can say it's a gentle, safe process in your general summary at the top, actually. When you're in balance, it frees you up to move forward in life. And that would go at the top as well. Then you've got a little section on each one. So doing energy clearing, I'll clean and clear you. A full person clearing session takes about 1 hour. On-site space clearing for home or business, space clearing by distance. Right, okay. So it's £85 an hour, whatever you're offering. Recommend 3 energy clearing sessions. You could just streamline this whole thing a lot more. So I would just have a summary at the top, talk about the in-person stuff, talk about the space clearing stuff, and then just have book 1 session, book 3 sessions, because you talk about 1 session, 3 sessions. And you could even have, you know, a one-off session, and you would charge a little bit more. 3 sessions, you charge this much, and book 6 sessions, and it's this much. You could even do that. You don't have to though. But I would just kind of just talk about the different options. I don't know that you need that picture there particularly, because it's just more information. Draw a floor plan. It can be hand drawn, doesn't have to be drawn to scale. Yeah, I feel like that's information to send a client once they book. Yeah, I mean, that's great. That's great. And I think actually this whole thing could take up a lot less space. You don't need these kind of little blocks and stuff. I can see them playing with the plugins on your website. So yeah, simplify and streamline is what I would say about the Work With Me page. If you've got any questions, if you want to rejig this page and just send it back to me, I'll be happy to have a quick look over it. Okay, let's jump to the About page. And then you've got the testimonials at the bottom of the Work With Me page, which is great. By all means, do that. I notice you've got testimonials somewhere else as well. So I'd like to just you to gather all your testimonials up together and have them on a praise page. Okay. About. So, and this is there's no hard and fast rules about the About page, but I do like to bear in mind the concept that your website is a space that you're holding for your clients. So imagine if you were having a coffee morning in your front room, and you put on your best clothes, put on some lipstick, made the room beautiful, put some flowers on the coffee table, and welcomed your clients into the space. I'll stop sharing for a second. Welcome your clients into the space. You're then going to be having a conversation that's relevant to them. It's going to be relevant to the topic of the coffee morning. You won't necessarily be talking about your grandson who's just broken his ankle. You would probably be having lots of conversations about your clients and what's happening for them and so on. And although everything that you say in this page is to the point, I think there's that shift in understanding of what your website is doing. So you're welcoming people into your website. You're saying, yes, this is for you. This is what this space is for. It's to help you understand and experience more vitality in your life through energy clearing. And I'd like that to be how you begin this page, rather than about you. It's about this space, it's about your business, about this project, and this lovely bit of text here at the beginning. I think this is a beautiful way to deepen people's connection with you on the About page. This is great, and this either the things with the About page and the home page, the kind of what you can put on those 2 pages is interchangeable. So I'm going to share the screen again for you. Where's it gone? As you can see, I'm not very technical. Yeah. Come on. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, so energy clearing is by far the most transformational energy work I've ever done. That implies you've done other energy work and you don't refer to it. So I'd love to know, at least I think you don't refer to it. Yeah. So you're referring to a story which you then don't tell, which is the most annoying thing ever. If you're going to refer to the story, you need to tell the story. So talk about your journey to this energy clearing thing, if it's relevant. This set of questions is what you want to lead with. You want to lead with that on your Work With Me page. You want to lead with that this kind of text at the top of your About page. You want to lead with it on your homepage. Have a look at Marie Forleo's About page, because she does this beautifully. She kind of calls out the problem that she's solving, lays out what her solution is, and then talks about why she's the person to solve it. So call out the issues that energy clearing can address. Talk about how wonderful it is, and then position yourself as someone who can really do that. Now, this is beautiful. You've done it perfectly. You've always been sensitive to energy. Let me come back to that. I wonder if it could help me break free from long-held patterns that would drain me dry. Yes, so people can really see yourself in that. So I love that. But I would just start with your clients rather than with you, and then put that. So just flip these two sections over. Ah, yes, you've got another testimonial here. Anyone undergoing a transitional phase in their lives or experiencing emotional turmoil or lack of direction would benefit from working with you. So there's no harm in putting testimonials everywhere. I just would really like to collect them together. That's great, having a link to that there. I don't really like this bar though. It just feels really heavy and corporate and not very clear and light. And I do like a good picture of a cat. That's great, that's really sweet. Click here to learn how to work with me. I'd rather, actually, as a call to action, I would prefer that to be, because people can see your Work With Me page, I prefer this call to action to be book your free energy health check here. Really, because you want to work on building engagement, and one-to-one engagement is the most powerful form of traction at this stage in your business. Okay, let's connect. I bet that's going to go to your... Yeah, so that's a 404 page. Exactly. Let's Connect needs to link to, again, book your free 15-minute energy health check. So you clearly can write, and you've got the point about what you need to be writing. So you don't need to worry about that so much. You just need to think about that. Who's it for? What's the problem you're solving? What's your response to the problem, and how are people going to feel at the end? Those 4 points, and keep coming back to that on each of these pages. So I've talked about that. Talked about the Work With Me. Do come back to me with the work on the Work With Me page if that wasn't clear. Contact. Again, please book your free 15-minute health check. Here's how to email me if you want to get in touch. I notice you haven't got a kind of mailing list sign up, and oh yes, there was something else I was going to come back to. So I was going to come back to mailing list sign up. I started whiffling on about images on the Work With Me page, and I just had the thought that you could have a kind of general introduction to energy clearing and how it can impact your life and how you work, like a short paragraph. I like, what's her name? No, Jenny Shee. I like how Jenny Shee does this. It's very simple. Fender Maria does a good one as well. Very simple Work With Me page. But you could have one image. You can use PicMonkey to make a nice image for personal energy clearing, and one for space clearing if you want, and just link to separate pages. But actually, it's simple enough information that you don't necessarily have to do that. Okay. Yeah, you don't have an option to sign up for your mailing list. And I'm guessing that's either because you can't figure out the technology to get a plug-in, or you're not sure what to offer as an opt-in bribe. And my answer to that is to offer, first of all, for the first few weeks or months with this, depending on kind of what speed you're working at, is to start with a 15-minute energy health check, and then use that and get very interested in getting people to do those. So aim to do like 20 or 30 over the next period of time, and then notice. Always send a follow-up with like 2 or 3 points of advice or tips or insight. Always send a follow-up to your clients and use that to kind of springboard into booking sessions, but also notice what tips you're giving, and you'll start to notice what advice you're giving over and over again, and you'll notice what advice kind of leads to the most light bulb moments for your consultees. And you can use that information to start compiling a really simple PDF, audio recording or whatever. But if you're stuck for what to include as an opt-in bribe, then that would be what I would do. I would start with doing 15-minute consults and go from there and just notice where it goes. And in terms of your clients, you know, you don't have a strong ideal client. That's not coming through, but it's not really a problem at this stage. But again, I would just do lots of 15-minute consults and notice what the people you get on best with, the people that you do the most effective work with, have in common, and then just begin to weave that into your story. Begin to weave that into the text that you're putting on your front page and on the beginning of your about page. Just begin to notice what things they have in common, and weave that into your story. But basically, you're on the right track. It's just a question of uncluttering. Maybe give your website an energy clearing. And I'm only half joking. Just uncluttering the way that the information is laid out, and you're going to be fine. So if you have any questions about that, or you want to talk more about this, then just drop me a line and I'll be happy to help. Lots of love, Manda. Take care. Bye-bye.